Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, Dan Kornhauser. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, guys. Happy 3 coming up here.
And then, of course, we got me and Dan's guest today, former Indiana basketball great Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing wonderful, Mike and Dan. Thank you for allowing me to participate with you two football geniuses this week.
All right, guys. We are going to
it's so bad for Dan. What? He changed jerseys. He's not even a powder blue baby blue Lions fan anymore. Now he wants to be
Honolulu Blue.
Now he wants to be
half a game on Monday.
Now he wants to be a Chiefs fan. Who right now everybody's saying the Chiefs right now are an overrated football team. That they're
they are because defensively they have huge
and probably not going to make the Super Bowl.
No, they're not. Neither are the Lions. Let's go ahead and let's start off with the game of the week, maybe the game of the year, possibly an NFC Championship preview. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady travel to L.A. to take on the Rams. The Bucs are favored by 1.5 points. Steve, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think this is going to be Brady's methodical offense against Los Angeles' stifling defense. I'm having come off just playing the Rams. Although the good news is I did get to see the entire game in the LA market. And I did cover the spread on that because I did take the Colts. I was the only one.
Yeah.
Because unlike Dan, I never bet against my own team. So irregardless, I think that I saw enough just inaccuracies. I'm going to tell you what. I think the biggest weakness of the Colts right now is McVay.
Hey, right now the Bucs are playing the Rams, Steve, and the Bucs are favored by 1.5. Who do you like?
Oh, is that all I'm supposed to say?
Well, we're picking that game right now. When we get to the Colts, you can talk about the Colts.
I'm not talking about the Colts. I went back
to.
You
said Colts, though.
Well, I refer to the fact the Colts played them last week. Okay. That being said, I think that Tampa Bay will cover the spread and win the game. I think that right now they're playing as mistake-free a football as I've seen a team play this early in the season. And Gronk is going Gronkowski.
All right, Dan, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucs minus that 1.5. It's a great line. It's hard to bet against Matt Stafford, but because that's my boy, and the Rams are pretty stacked. Even though Antonio Brown's not going to play this week because of the COVID-19 being on that list, I'll still go with the Bucs. That's a really close line. I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucs also because I think this will be the first time that Matt Stafford will go up a defensive line that can actually pressure him, and I don't think he's got the weapons that Tom Brady has. They're at home, but does that really matter to Tampa Bay? I mean, that is a team that went on the road to New Orleans and to Green Bay last year to get to the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the Bucs. It would not surprise me if the Rams win this game, because it's early in the season. If the Bucs lose, it'll probably be in the first half of the season. Next up, the Carolina Panthers, who are 2-0 behind Teddy Bridgewater, will go to Houston to battle the Texans. The Panthers are favored by 7.5, Dan.
I'm gonna take that line. I mean, it's been rough with these 7+ lines in the first couple of weeks, and I don't like Thursday night games because I feel like they're always closer than they should be in situations like this where one team is clearly better than the other. I'm gonna go with the Panthers though, with all things being equal.
So you're gonna give the points then, okay?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with Houston in the points. I think the Panthers will win the game, but I think the short week favors the lesser of the two teams. And the thing about the Texans is they won week 1 pretty easy against Jacksonville. Week 2, without that missed field goal, they're only down by a touchdown in Cleveland. So I'm going to take the points in this game and take the Houston Texans, Steve.
Yeah, who's quarterbacking Denver?
Denver? Teddy
Bridgewater, because I just screwed up.
I was going to say, you said behind Teddy Bridgewater, the Panthers are going to win.
All right, Mike, Risley, you got to pick the game, Risley.
I've got to document this.
It took you 7 years, Risley,
to get you to actually make a Risley. You actually
the
pulled a
difference is
Risley.
this: when Risley pulls a Risley, he tries to cover it up and give some BS excuse. I just screwed up. I meant Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold is one of my favorite quarterbacks. Also, by the way,
He threw me off. I'm like, this is Teddy Britt. Now, then I didn't know if I was right because I'm thinking, if I'm wrong and make this statement, they're going to light me up like Christmas tree on.
That's why he
Christmas
gently
Eve.
asked who was coaching the Denver
Yeah.
Broncos. Okay.
I'm with you. I'm going to take the point spread. I think 7.5 points. Panthers have lucked their way into 2 wins. I like Darnold. I think he's making a good statement for himself, but I don't think there's a lot of support. McCaffrey's a great running back, all-purpose back and player for that team. But I just think that the spread's too big, and I think the Texans can cover that spread.
All right, next up, the Philadelphia Eagles will travel to Dallas to battle the Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 3.5. Guys, Steve Risley, this is another first. Risley at the start of the season said that he thought the Cowboys could be a sleeper. I think right now the Cowboys are a playoff team. I think they're going to win the NFC East, and I think they're going to cover the spread, Dan.
What is this? Dallas -3.5. Philadelphia is dealing with a couple of key injuries. Brandon Graham's out for the year with a torn ACL. With a torn Achilles. And Brandon Brooks, their starting right guard, is going to be out, and rookie Landon Dickerson is going to be starting in his place. Dallas's offense is stacked. I think that's the difference here. I don't really trust the Eagles yet. I don't know. They're just, on paper, they're just not as good as Dallas. And I think Dallas is going to be looking for some momentum. They're going to probably look to get Zeke going. There's been a lot of questions with the kind of workload Tony Pollard's been getting the first couple of weeks compared to Zeke. They're pretty even in terms of touches. I expect that to change this week, and they establish Zeke. So I'll go Dallas -3.5.
Why would you do that if you can have two guys split it and not have to put it all on Zeke?
Because you're paying Zeke how much money, a year, and over the next few years. You're not going to pay a running back that kind of money when you obviously probably regret at this point paying Zeke all that money and ignoring their defense.
But doesn't it make your team better to have both guys? Plus, you can keep Zeke healthy all the year and fresh when you get to the playoffs.
Oh, sure, but you can't. It's pretty much a 50-50
Yeah, it's Jerry
split.
Jones.
It's a 50-50 split. If I'm paying this guy 10, 12, 14 mil a year, and he's one of the top paid players at his position, especially at a position that doesn't bring that kind of value like running back, I got to give that man the rock. You got to feed that man. You don't got to give him 30 touches a game. Pollard's a great weapon to have, especially in the passing game, but they got to get Zeke established, especially if they want to be successful.
All right, Steve, Philadelphia, Dallas, Cowboys by 3.5. You like the Cowboys here?
Oh, definitely like the Cowboys. I talked to my boy Randy this morning. They're working very hard to get that defense.
You did not talk to Randy Gregory this morning.
I did talk to Randy this morning.
Steve, you didn't.
I did.
You didn't.
Well,
let's have him on the show.
That defensive front.
Why don't you record an interview with him when you?
I have not asked him to yet.
I'm
getting things lined up for something like that. Hang on. I think that he's saying that he thinks the defensive front is going to be as close to back at full strength as they can get. He thinks he can play. He hasn't been cleared yet, but he's hoping he can, and will get cleared by Sunday to play. I think the one thing, and I said this from the very get-go, having watched Hard Knocks, I liked the attitude of the Cowboys. I liked their camaraderie. Everything's good about the Cowboys that you haven't seen good. McCarthy was actually being positive influence on this football team, which I know we're all not McCarthy fans. So I like the Cowboys here. I think that the thing they need to do over the course of time is transition a lot of what Dak Prescott is doing and transfer some of that to Zeke, and get him more involved in the offense and stop trying to throw 40 to 50 passes a game. You're gonna wear out the arm of Dax, and late in the season you don't want that. You want your quarterback fresh and strong. But right now, I think the Cowboys are a playoff team. Whether they're a Super Bowl contending team yet remains to be seen, but I think they're odds-on favorite to win the NFC East. And this game Sunday. All
right, next up, the Denver Broncos. What do you mean? What am I doing? I already picked the game.
Mike,
I said Dallas.
Okay.
I said Dallas.
Okay. I didn't write it down.
All right, next
right.
up, the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. The Broncos are favored by 10.5, Steve.
Broncos.
Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback for the Broncos, and I'm going to take Teddy Bridgewater
That's the
also.
Well, you said me. Why are you talking when it's my pick?
I don't know, because you took so damn long on the Dallas thing. I was getting sick of hearing your voice. What do you think, Dan?
Oh no, poor Steve. I'm going to go with Denver. I don't want to go with Denver, and when I probably do my pick'ems in my league with my buddies, I'm probably going to go with the Jets. 10.5 is a lot.
Wait, we're not your buddies?
No, I hate you guys. I hate both of you.
Okay. Well, you
Oh
got
no,
a
I'm kidding.
No, you're not. Now Steve will be upset now. He's going to call after the show and he's going to say, "Do you think Dan really hates us?"
No, I don't hate you, Steve. But no, also with the
give
Broncos,
it a few weeks, Dan. Give it a few weeks.
Also, one thing with the Broncos of note, Bradley Chubb is going to be missing the game. I think he's got an ankle injury or something going on there. He's going to have surgery. He was put on short-term IR. He's out for at least another month to 6 weeks. So a big loss for the Broncos. I don't really think it'll matter against the Jets. Hopefully Zach Wilson doesn't throw 4 interceptions like he did last week. But I'm going to go with the Broncos.
All right, next up, the Green Bay Packers.
Wait a minute. I got to make a sidebar note here, if I may, real quickly.
Sure.
About 2 weeks ago, my friend Mike Goodpaster put out an article, the 9 greatest players in the history of the New York Jets. He listed Don Maynard as number 1.
Yeah, because he obviously is.
Okay, and then yesterday he posts on Instagram a picture of Joe Namath and calls him the face of the Jets.
I did?
Yeah, the Grueling Truth did.
No,
you did. Yeah, you did.
I did not. Show me.
I will get it. It's on there. Go to the Grueling Truth on Instagram and pull it up.
Wait a second. I don't have anything to do with the Grueling Truth Instagram.
Well, somebody's doing it. Somebody's posting it.
It was not me. But I would also say this. Don Maynard is the greatest player of all time, but the face of
not even close.
Oh, who's better?
Namath.
Than Don Maynard.
Yeah.
Joe Namath, who threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
How many other quarterbacks in the NFL have put their schwanker out on the line and said, "I guarantee a win in the Super Bowl"?
Well, how many of those guys did it?
Delivered?
He didn't deliver anything. Matt Snell and the defense delivered that Super Bowl. Matt Snell should have been the MVP of that Super Bowl.
All right.
Yeah, and wait a second. Joe Namath in that game was like 12 for 19 for 160 yards, Steve. Let's not act like he did anything completely outstanding.
Leadership sometimes is more important than statistics, Mike.
Okay, how about this? I mean, Don Maynard, who played.
You know how many times I led Indiana to victories and only scored 5 points in a game?
Never, Steve. And I watched all of those games. You never led them to a victory. Isaiah Thomas did. Don Maynard in the 60s and 70s had 633 receptions for over 11,000 yards and 88 touchdowns. Those are numbers that would be good today. You look at a guy like Lynn Swann and Jalen Swann, who's in the Hall of Fame. He had like 400 catches for half the touchdowns and half the yards.
Don Maynard's a great football player. Let's move on.
He's the greatest football player.
But somebody's hacking your Grueling Truth site on Instagram then, because
nobody's hacking it. It's the person that runs it.
Oh, well, the people that are running it put up a nice big picture of Joe Namath saying
because he
the face
is
of the Jets.
Face of the Jets.
Right, which would make him their greatest player.
It really wouldn't. It would just make him
the most let's put
famous.
Up Weeb Eubank.
It would be the most famous. Okay. Do you understand that, Steve?
Move on.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the most famous too. Let's do a poll.
I just said
let's do a poll of 12th graders in Beaverton, Pennsylvania, and see how many people know who Don Maynard is, and how many people know who Joe Namath is.
Well, let's do it in El Paso and see how many people know who Don Maynard is.
I guarantee you the results would be the same.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
You're a moron. So, Green Bay at San Francisco.
You're an idiot.
The 49ers are favored by 3.5. I obviously am an idiot because I keep having you on this show repeatedly, no matter how much stupid shit you say. Now, Steve, Green Bay at San Francisco, Niners by 3.5.
Not by 3.5?
Yes.
I'm taking the Packers.
Okay. Dan.
Yeah, San Francisco's dealing with, as usual, a bunch of injuries. Their backfield is completely riddled with injuries. Their rookie running back, who had a great week one, is questionable. Sermon is their other rookie's also questionable. I think they signed some guy who used to play for playing the XFL or whatever. Just a bad state of affairs overall. I think Hasty, their other running back, is questionable. So they might be legitimately down to their fourth, fifth, or even sixth string running back.
And I hate to tell you this, but every one of those running backs you talked about had success. They have success because of the way they block in their zone running scheme. The Green Bay Packers got decimated in week one by a Saints team that got destroyed by the Panthers last week. And let's face it, the Detroit Lions outplayed the Packers for at least half of that game on Monday night. And they're up 17-14 at the half. Green Bay has issues. They are similar to the Bengals, that they have a 12-year-old that's not qualified as their head coach. And I think San Francisco wins this game under coaching. And Jimmy Garoppolo will make plays. He doesn't turn the ball over very often. He is a quarterback who has more recently been to a Super Bowl than Aaron Rodgers has. I'm going to go with San Francisco. I think everybody in the world is jumping on this point spread, and I think they're all going to be sadly disappointed because I think the Niners win this game by 14 points. Next up, yes.
I'm going to go Green Bay.
Well, I hate to tell you, you say 14 points, wow. But I remember watching the Saints beat them by 35 2 weeks ago. And the 49ers are a better team than the Saints.
Disagree, but we're going to move on.
You can't disagree because Jimmy Garoppolo's a stud.
I agree with Dan. But I agree.
Wait a second. How is Jimmy Garoppolo average at best when the thing that matters is wins and losses, and he's probably won 75% of the games he's started?
If any quarterback who you consider to be elite or even good threw for under 100 yards in a playoff game, yeah, they won. All that matters is winning. That's great. And he doesn't make mistakes. Fantastic. When he plays, he's not lighting the world on fire. It's great that he doesn't turn the ball over. It's great that he wins. All that matters is winning, and you're right. But he's not. Stop it. He's not that good. He's not a top 15 quarterback at
he's a top 15 quarterback easily.
No shot.
Yes,
shot.
He is.
He's
proven it.
I think
how many of those guys in the top 15 have been to the Super Bowl? And you can sit there, and you know what? The only reason he didn't win the Super Bowl is because his coach basically pooped his pants in the fourth quarter instead of letting Jimmy throw the ball. They came out and just ran.
Hey Dan, let me ask you this: would you want Garoppolo coaching the Lions right now, or not coaching quarterbacking the Lions right now?
Hell yeah,
I wouldn't. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't want Jimmy.
I'd kill to get him on the Colts
over at least half the NFL's current starters, and that's
you know what? That
wasn't my question. Wait, don't be Joe Biden. Answer my damn question. Would you want Garoppolo coaching or playing quarterbacking the Lions right now?
I would, because I think that little.
There you go. Rest my case. Move on, Mike.
Little Jared Goff.
Well, how about this?
Jimmy
Garoppolo. Mike. Wait a second. Jimmy Garoppolo, who Dan says is not even in the top 15. There's 15 quarterbacks better than him. His career record is 26-8. He has completed 68% of his passes for 9,000 yards, 53 touchdowns, 26 interceptions. He has led his team to the playoffs. And, I mean, if you look at this, 2-0 as a fill-in for Brady, 5-0 with the Niners, 1-2 the next year, 13-3, 3-3 because he was hurt last year, 2-0 this year. He is 26-8. 26-8.
I want to tell you right now.
I hate to tell you this, but the Niners last year, if Jimmy G's there all year, would have made the playoffs. They were 3-3 and set up to make the playoffs. He got hurt. Team went to hell.
At this point in time right now, he's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz.
Well,
that's not saying much. Carson Wentz can't stay healthy. The kid's the new.
Well, despite his health, if they both stayed healthy, he's a better quarterback.
Absolutely not. Garoppolo was never even close to the MVP, having an MVP season like Wentz.
Wait a second. You can't compare this. That is absolutely asinine.
Asinine, Dan.
That means Drew Brees and Carson Wentz are about the same, right? What the hell does an MVP award got to do with anything?
What's that got to do with anything?
That Wentz at his best is better than Garoppolo's ever been.
No, it doesn't. It means that Wentz at his best was on a better team than Garoppolo's ever been on that threw the ball.
Mike, has Wentz taken anybody to the Super Bowl?
No.
No, Garoppolo has.
Because he got hurt. And Jimmy.
No. I think it's a huge stretch here to think that the Eagles go to the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz, no matter how good he was playing. Nick Foles played his ass off in that playoff run, and he played his ass off in that Super Bowl. Carson Wentz has had one great season. He's never had a complete season, but last year he played as bad as any quarterback that ever lived, and you're going to tell me that he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, not
Jimmy
even close.
Garoppolo, I mean, that's stupid.
He was back then, and he could
No,
have been, but now
he
there's
wasn't.
no question. Wentz
He
is-
wasn't
Wentz is
back
out.
then.
Wentz is
He
totally
wasn't
out.
back then.
Dan,
I
go
mean-
put your Lions jersey back on.
Name me 14 quarterbacks better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, name 14 quarterbacks in the NFL right now better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Come on, I'm going to wait. I want to hear this.
Well, let's see. Just going down the list.
Good division. Is Baker Mayfield better? Lamar
Yes.
Jackson,
Lamar Jackson's
Garoppolo is
better.
better. No, Garoppolo.
Garoppolo's a better quarterback.
That's terrible. Rodgers.
How's
Mahomes-
it terrible?
Hold on.
You're wrong, Dan.
No, that's
You know
crazy.
what? You're going to sit there and tell
Lamar
me,
Jackson's not a quarterback.
Steve, shut the hell up and let the adults handle this. All right,
Terrible.
so when you look at this, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, you rip on Jimmy Garoppolo because he didn't throw for 100 yards in a playoff game. He's also never thrown 3 or 4 picks in a playoff game.
Man, you're not
And
wrong.
the thing is this, it's been proven Lamar Jackson fails in big moments. Jimmy Garoppolo won playoff games. Lamar Jackson runs the ball first. Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback.
You're telling me Garoppolo, you'd rather have Garoppolo right now.
On my team with the offense I want to run, I want to
Yeah.
run an NFL offense. I want Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is that good. I think people are basically, for the most part, assholes that want other people to fail. I think because he's not flashy and he doesn't run his mouth, that people want him to fail. I think that people would rather see flashy than they would a solid, competent quarterback. I can tell you this. I really, as God is my witness, if you gave me an NFL team right now and said, who do you want at quarterback? I'll take Jimmy Garoppolo in a heartbeat. I'll take Baker Mayfield over Lamar Jackson, too, in a heartbeat.
I'd take Jimmy Garoppolo if the top, 13, 14 guys were off the board. Then I'd consider it.
Yeah, but you don't have 13 or 14 guys. Would you take Daniel Jones?
No, gross.
Would you take
Roethlisberger?
Hold on. So I would give Rodgers, Mahomes, Dak, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Stafford, Murray, Carr, Josh Allen, Baker, Herbert, and Brady. That's already 12.
No, that's 10.
No, that's 12.
No, that's 10 because I don't agree with 2 of them.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So,
But I don't agree with 2. There's no way. Wait a second. You're going to take Justin Herbert, who's played 1 year in the NFL, and he sucks. I'll tell you what, I'm getting so sick of this shit. All right? People want to anoint everybody as being the greatest that ever lived. And if you notice, Justin Herbert, lost the game with timely interceptions last week. That's what Justin Herbert did all through college, and it's what he's going to do all through his professional career. And we've got all these guys that jump on his jock because, he threw for a bunch of yards against bad teams. What happened last year when he played against New England? New England shut his ass out.
Well, he was a rookie.
Dan,
wait a second. You're telling me.
Bill Belichick.
Dan,
the point is this. Justin Herbert has played 1 year in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo has won playoff games, taken his team to the Super Bowl, and he's 26-8. And you're going to rate a kid who has a losing record over him. That's
100%.
stupid.
Because if I'm winning today, Justin Herbert can make all the throws. He could.
Come on, guys.
He can make all the throws. He makes all the throws.
Let me ask one question.
San Francisco, they win a Super Bowl.
Dan,
they can win a Super Bowl with Garoppolo because he's taking him there. You don't even know if Herbert can get to Chargers.
You want to see an explosion? Right now, today, for starting on Sunday, would you take Burrows or Garoppolo?
No, Burrows.
Burrow.
Okay.
I'd take Burrow over about anybody in the NFL. I think the Bengals may possibly ruin him.
You know what?
before
I didn't have Burrow's name written down there, but you know what? I'll take Burrow over.
Well, the thing that's stupid is it means you think Herbert's better than Burrow, which is absolutely
no. I just had his name written down.
Let's move on to the next game. Come on. This needs to be less than an hour show.
Shut up, Steve. You went on 20 minutes about the Dallas Cowboys and your fake relationship on the phone with Randy Gregory.
Oh, it's not
Next up, the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are favored by 4.5. The Tennessee Titans will win this game. They're not favored.
They got a 4.5 point spread.
Huh?
The
The Titans are
Sporting
favored.
News has the Colts favored, or I guess
Oh my
that?
God! Am I dealing with idiots here? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, you're right. Go
Can
ahead.
anybody help me? It's 4.5 points. The Colts aren't favored over anybody because they suck and they're winless and they're going to stay winless. And they're going to stay winless by more than 4.5 points. Agree, Dan?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna go with Tennessee. Their defense is lacking, but their offense showed signs of life. And if Derrick Henry's gonna do even 70% of what he did last week, the Titans are gonna be in a good place. 4.5 is a little close, but I'll go with Tennessee.
Steve, go ahead and get that homer pick going.
No, I don't. Well, the question is whether Wentz is going to play or not. If Wentz is out, it's a runaway.
Yeah,
It's a runaway either way.
It's not a 4.5 points is a good pick. If Wentz has played good last week, I think the problem with the Colts right now is the play calling that's going on. I think that they're just a little bit too conservative in what they're doing. They're not trying to push the ball downfield as hard as they should be. But that being said, I've got to go with Wentz not being 100%, so I got to take Tennessee in the points.
You wait a second. You just got on Steve or on Dan because he didn't always pick his team like you do, and then you just picked against your team.
Well, in the fantasy pool that I bet on, I'm betting on the Colts. But for me talking to our new owners, fans out there trying to make a legitimate pick, I say you'd be idiot to not take the Tennessee Titans and give up 4.5 points.
You're picking against your team. All right, next up.
No saying.
Atlanta at the Giants. I think this is the easiest pick of the week, Steve. I'm going with the Giants. Daniel Jones looked good before. The Falcons are an absolute wreck. I'm taking the Giants, and I'm going to give the 3.5 points.
I agree entirely. I'll shut up after that.
Okay. Dan?
Somebody, you know what? I'm going to go with Atlanta. Both
Good.
these teams are equally abysmal. I'll be a little different.
Giants aren't abysmal. They're not.
The Giants were in both games. The Falcons
they were.
Within an inch of their lives.
Saquon Barkley really hasn't exploded and busted out yet.
He will in this game, though, and it's not.
I agree. He has not shown himself yet, and when he does, the Giants will transform, and they've got a good young quarterback.
I think the Giants win by 3, but I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right, next up. Justin Herbert, who is anointed the next great thing, against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are giving 7 points, Dan.
That's a lot. But I think Mahomes is going to be disgusted coming off of last week. I think Tyreek Hill getting, I mean, for all intents and purposes, shut out for what we expect from him is going to be repulsed. I think they're going to do something special this week. I really like the Chargers. I really like, aside from Herbert, their offense is solid. Their offensive line is playing better. The additions they made were huge. And I love Derwin James when he's healthy. It's hard not to like Derwin James, a healthy Derwin James. But as much as I like the Chargers, I think Kansas City is going to be out here for blood. And I am wearing their jersey tonight. Good old Priest Holmes here, so I can't pick against them.
So you got that at the Goodwill for $4 since it's an
I have had this, sir, since the early 2000s. I'll have you know, since I was.
So that was when you were a newborn.
Yeah, right.
All right, Risley, what do you think?
Where's the game at? The game's at Kansas City, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got Chiefs. This is a runaway.
All right, I'm going to take the Chargers because the Chiefs' defense is not very good. I think the Chiefs will win the game, but I think the Chargers will stay within a touchdown. They'll be able to score at will. It'll make Justin Herbert look good. Next up, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. The Steelers are favored by 4.5. Big Ben is questionable, be a game-time decision. It looks like T.J. Watt will probably play, but to me, guys, this is a game with basically – I mean, the Steelers are decimated by injuries. The Bengals have a few injuries. The Bengals are decimated because Zach Taylor's an idiot and he's their head coach. What do you think, Steve?
Where's the game at?
Pittsburgh, Steve.
It's at Pittsburgh.
What are you looking at on the computer if you don't know where the game's at?
I'm not looking at anything on the computer. I'm just writing down games and looking at. What's the spread?
Oh, 4.5.
4.5 for Pittsburgh.
Why do you still have the Chargers Kansas City spread up there?
It was already
on,
up there. Why don't you
Get with it.
Why don't you pick the game, Steve?
4.5.
Yeah.
I'm a Bengals fan this year. I'm going to take the Bengals on this one. I think Burrows is the real deal, and I think that team's going to continue to get better.
Do you realize that his last name does not have an S on it?
Burrow? Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies on that. That's a shame that I blew that up.
It clearly is amateur hour, I guess.
I know. And you know what? To make it even more of an amateur hour, we're going to ask Dan for his pick. Dan, Cincinnati.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to say something here that's probably going to get us off the air. Fuck both of you.
Oh, rude. So
that
rude.
Is rude. And it's so rude. Yeah, it's so homophobic.
There you go.
I'm going to go Cincinnati on this one. Pittsburgh is pretty much their medical wing is littered with starters. Deontay Johnson, Alex Highsmith, Carlos Davis, Joe Hayden, TJ Watt, Ben Roethlisberger, Tyson Alualu. These are literally all starters for them. And sure, they're questionable and they didn't participate in practice today. They might very well, all of them, suit up, except for maybe Alualu because he fractured his ankle. But I like Cincinnati, even with T. Higgins not practicing today. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be interesting. And I think this is going to be a nice little statement win for Cincinnati. Like, yeah, we're rebuilding. We're up and coming, but don't disrespect us.
Whatever. The Bengals disrespect themselves all the time. I'm going to take the Bengals just because the Steelers are beat up. Joe Burrow, I think, makes the difference here. As long as Zach Taylor doesn't make the difference in the wrong way, the Bengals should be all right there. Next up, Chicago at Cleveland. The Browns are 7.5-point favorites. I'll go ahead and start off. I'm going to take the Browns and give the points because I believe Odell Beckham will play this week. And if he does, the Chicago Bears defensive backfield is not very good. Of course, Zach Taylor, even knowing that, never threw the ball deep once for 3 quarters, and the Bengals lost to him. Cleveland will realize that. Cleveland wins the game and covers. What do you think, Dan?
Justin Fields is going to be starting this game for Andy Dalton, who's out with an injury. I really liked Justin Fields coming out of college. I did have him as my number 2.
Yeah, but they're not letting him play quarterback. If you watch the Bengals, they ain't letting him play quarterback. Andy Dalton looked pretty good. I think the Bengals would have been beaten by 2 or 3 touchdowns if he'd have stayed in. There's a big difference between the skill level right now of Andy Dalton and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily Fields' fault.
No.
I think it's the coaches for not just turning him loose. I mean, what harm is there in letting a man play football?
I mean, you see what they're doing in New York with Zach Wilson, Jacksonville with Lawrence, Burrow last year. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's becoming the norm in the NFL now to give the young guy the rock early on because why not?
Yeah, but the thing about giving him the rock is you got to allow him to try to win you the game. You can't tell him, don't lose us the game.
Yeah, a guy like Justin Fields, you got to unleash him. He's not a protect the ball, don't make mistakes. He's the guy who's going to go out there. He's going to try to get you 100 yards on the ground. He's going to be electric. He's athletic. He's everything you want in a modern quarterback. But I agree. I think that coaching staff is going to hold him back a little bit. They clearly want Dalton to start, and that's fine. But eventually it's got to be Fields' time for good. But regardless, since Cleveland is right, I'm going to go with Cleveland. I'm going to take these points.
Steve?
I got Cleveland.
All righty. And I don't think it does necessarily have to be Fields' time. We saw what happened with Mitch Trubisky time. Next up. Guys, do we even have to pick Baltimore, Detroit, or are we just all taking Baltimore?
We're all taking Baltimore.
Okay.
I don't care what the points are. It could be 14. I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter who plays for Baltimore. They're going to win.
Yep.
Next up, the New Orleans Saints at the New England Patriots.
What is the spread? What is the spread for that game?
Which one? The one we ignored?
Yeah, Detroit Baltimore.
7.5. Why, you want to jump on it?
No. But I just want to know the spread.
Huh. You know what? Damn. I'm tempted, but I won't. New Orleans at New England. The Patriots are favored by 3, Steve.
And this is a tough game because while we all love Jameis Winston and want to see the kid succeed, he's worked hard. He's a great athlete. He's a good kid. He's
really not. Do you know the history of Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then don't call him a good kid. Plus, he's not a kid because he's like 28 years old or 25 years old or whatever. Go ahead.
Well, you're 62. 28's a good kid.
Yeah. Well, you're not a good kid when you do the stuff Jameis Winston's done, but go ahead.
He's just inconsistent. You don't know which one of him is going to show up.
I don't believe
And
that at all. I believe the problem right now is just the injuries that the Saints have to their wide receivers.
what's the spread on the game?
I've told you this already. 3.
I'll take New England.
Okay. I'm taking the Patriots also. I just don't see where there's enough weapons there for Winston to score on this defense. I think the Patriots defense is underrated, and I think the Patriots have a shot to win this division over the Bills at the end, Dan. Not saying they will. I just think they'll be in the race the entire way.
After the first week, how good the Saints offense looked. Last week, they completely fell off. Kamara did nothing. Winston did nothing. It was very
Inconsistencies.
very disappointing. And the Patriots, we know what the Patriots are going to be this year. They're clearly modeling this year what they used to do with early Brady before they unleashed him. Don't turn the ball over. Dump it off if you have to. Get James White involved. Get your slot guys involved. Get your tight ends involved. Do that boring thing. Mac Jones, I don't even think had a touchdown last week, but as long as he doesn't make mistakes, they're going to win. It's in New England. I'll go with the Pats as well.
All right. Next up, Arizona and Jacksonville. Arizona is favored by 7.5. That doesn't seem like near enough. If this was 14, I think it would take Arizona, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, to make it simple, Jacksonville sucks. I have no faith in Urban Meyer at all. That offensive line is god-awful. Lawrence might put up some nice stats in garbage time, but the Jaguars are clearly undermanned here. Kyler Murray is a man on a mission. He may be the MVP this year if he plays this well. They might win 12 games if he keeps playing this well. Tough division and all. I'll take Jacksonville. This is one of those games. It could have been 20 points. I'm still taking. I'm sorry, not Jacksonville. I'm taking Arizona. It could have been 20
No,
points.
you said Jacksonville, and as we realized last week, there's no changing your picks, correct, Steve?
That is correct.
It was a verbal
diarrhea. I know. It was a verbal snafu. All right, Steve, Arizona?
Yeah.
I agree. Next up, the Washington Redskins at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is an 8.5-point favorite. Do the Redskins have a shot, Steve?
Yeah, I think they definitely have a shot. Washington has surprised me at being a little bit better football team than I thought they'd be.
Really?
Well, I didn't have a lot of high expectations.
Weed is legalized out there in L.A., ain't it?
Yeah, but I've never smoked a joint in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael K.
That's Steve.
Michael K says that he's prides himself on
Dan,
never smoking.
there's a lot of things I make jokes off, but
a
lot of things I make jokes about. But one goddamn thing you ought to be real careful about is making jokes about people that kill dogs. Because I'm an animal lover, and I don't take that crap very nicely at all. And you owe me an apology.
What are you talking about?
Michael K didn't kill any dogs.
Michael Vick did.
I said Michael
What
K.
the fuck does that have to do with Michael
I heard
K?
Michael Vick.
It was Michael K.
All right. I take it back.
It offends me to use Lord's name in vain. So shit, we're even.
Yes,
All right. So, who's Michael K?
I'm taking Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo on the points.
Buffalo.
I think they got a little bit of a crunch going on right now where they don't want to dilly-dally with this as much as they can. And they want to get a clear grasp of this division, the NFC East.
Who's Michael K? I don't know who Michael K is.
Yeah, who's Michael K?
He's the Yankees, the voice of the
Yes
Yankees,
Network guy.
The Yes Network guy, yeah.
Oh.
All right.
I heard Michael Vick, so.
No, definitely not. I'm gonna go Washington with this one, Mike.
That was rude, Steve. You yelled at him like you had Tourette's.
If I ever see Michael Vick walking across the street, my Ram pickup truck's going to learn how to ram.
Nice.
So you would be a murderer.
I have a 450 horsepower Hemi engine in that baby. I can get to him.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to take Buffalo also. Next up, a rematch in a 1974 divisional playoff game. The Miami Dolphins at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 4.5. I'm going to take the Raiders because I think Miami probably has been the worst front office in football in the last 3 years, and that's including the Bengals and the Lions. They had so many picks. They had so many options to turn this around, and they didn't. They completely blew it. Miami is going to be mired with the Jets while the Patriots and the Bills take over this division for the next 5 or 6 years, and it's nobody's fault but the Dolphins. So I'm going to take the Raiders and give the points here. And once again, to me, and remember, when we had a quarterback discussion, was it last week or the week before, Steve? Dan said that Derek Carr was pretty much trash. So Derek Carr is, as I said then, the most underappreciated, underrated quarterback in the NFL. And he's doing this with a bad offensive line and basically just him and Darren Waller. There's no Josh Jacobs. They went to Pittsburgh and won. They beat a Baltimore team where they were behind almost the whole game, and Carr kept making plays to bring him back.
Yep.
And then that same Chiefs team went and lost to your Chiefs team that you like, lost to the Ravens the next week. So I think that you owe Derek Carr and his wife an apology.
I will apologize to Derek Carr's lovely wife. Derek Carr still is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'd rather have Derek Carr right now.
Yes, he is better than Jimmy
Garoppolo. Yes, we all agree on
Derek
that.
Carr, I think, is a top 8 quarterback.
Okay, I like that. I definitely top 10.
You do not believe that because 2 weeks ago you said he was trash.
I'll put him number 10. How about that?
But you don't call a guy who you think 2 weeks ago is number 10 trash.
It's the NFL. A lot can change in a couple of weeks.
See, that's the difference. You young guys change things. I stick with what I say until the very bitter end, don't I, Steve?
Yes, you do.
All right.
I'm going to go with Miami in this one. I don't trust Vegas at all. They have a lot of injuries. Alex Weatherwood, their offensive tackles, dealing with an oblique injury.
Who's playing quarterback for Miami?
I'm sorry?
Who's going to play quarterback for Miami?
Oh, Jacoby Brissett. It's ugly. It's really ugly.
What are you laughing at, Steve? I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett than Carson Wentz.
That's the only quarterback we ever booted out of Indianapolis.
You know what? He's also the only quarterback who was 6-0, got hurt, and then the team fell apart. He got blamed for it when he came back and played injured. Jacoby Brissett can play football. He's not a top 15 guy, but he's a good football player, and he's a good quarterback, and I think he gives Miami a better chance to win than Tua.
I agree. I apologize for that statement. That humor.
Yeah, with Tua, they're another team holding their quarterback back. This kid shouldn't. I think he left the game averaging under 4 yards per completion. That's awful. That wouldn't work in the 70s. Well, that might work in the 70s.
It wouldn't. And wait a second.
That wouldn't work in 2021.
Wait a second. Young kids again. You know, Dan, in the 60s and 70s, there were guys like Greg Cook in 1969 that averaged 17.5 yards per pass. They used to throw the ball deep. There was no West Coast offense throw a hitch. They threw the ball deep.
I mean, 17 yards is crazy. That blows
Sonny
my mind.
Jurgensen always threw the ball deep.
Crazy. But yeah, so you know what? It wouldn't work in the 70s. It wouldn't work in the 70s, and it doesn't work today.
It actually did work in the 70s when they threw the ball deep all the time.
Kenny Stabler.
No. I'm talking about averaging 3.9 yards per carry, per pass, per completion. Sorry, But yeah, I'm going to go
Interestingly, there was I watched Bryant Gumbel's show on HBO. They did a really good just a nice expose on the Raiders and Mark Davis. That team's happy. That team feels good about themselves. Gruden feels good about his team, feels good about himself. They're all getting along. I think that's a team that's going to make the playoffs, I believe. Whether they challenge for anything will remain to be seen. But that's a very happy organization, and they found a home in Vegas. And I think you're going to see a lot of things out of the Raiders this year that you weren't expecting to see. I'm definitely taking the Raiders in the 4.5 points.
You know something that's really interesting? If you look at yards per attempt, leaders for a season, for the entire history of the NFL, if you go to top 20 seasons, there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the top 20 yards per attempt per season done in this entire century.
Wow.
The other 15 were all 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
No way. That's crazy.
See, there is your history lesson for tonight, man.
That's the West Coast offense coming into play.
Did you look up Sammy Ball last week?
Me?
I did look up Sammy Ball, and I did watch some of NFL films and stuff like that. And for, old school football. He was a guy who definitely seemed
that was actual football, though. You realize
seemed a little bit ahead of his time for
he was a lot ahead
doing.
of his time.
He was a little bit ahead of his time for what he was doing, and I never said Sammy Ball wasn't a legend. He is one.
You
of the
said it was
greatest
you said that he was just some old broken down hack. Remember that, Steve?
No.
Yes,
You said he was the best athlete at quarterback of all time.
He is.
And
You can't deny that. I mean, and now you know how stupid it is when you look at the stats.
I mean, the stats are pretty. I'm not gonna lie. The stats are pretty.
Yeah, it's like this. Who's the greatest baseball player that ever lived?
Babe Ruth.
Why?
Because he did it all, and he was godly at everything.
There you go. So you just answered your own question. Now, don't you feel bad that you laughed at Sammy Ball? Because if Sammy Ball was alive right now, he'd be 137, and he would still.
Wait a minute. Do you guys think Babe Ruth's the greatest baseball player that ever lived?
Who do you think's better?
Oh God, I need a few minutes to think about that. But Roberto Clemente comes. to
No.
mind.
Why did he pitch?
Pretty good. No, he didn't pitch.
Well, then how could he be better than Babe
Well,
Ruth?
now I'd have to talk about who's the guy playing for the Angels.
Yeah, but he's only done it for a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. But he's heading that direction.
Oh yeah, if he could do it for the next 5 or 6
Mike.
years.
I give you. I forgot that Ruth pitched.
First holds World Series
first
pitching
6 or 7 years of his career were pitching, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the Red Sox, he pitched.
Yeah, he just pitched. Yeah.
Steve, did you pick Miami or the Raiders?
I took the Raiders in the points.
Okay. Were you taking the Raiders and you're giving the points?
Take the Raiders and giving the points, yes.
Yeah. All right. Last year we had to explain this whole point spread thing to Steve. It was very confusing for him.
No.
Oh, my God. That's not true at all.
It really was. We can actually go back to that show. It might have been 2 years ago.
That's all right. Learning new things every day.
That's not true.
And they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Next up, Seattle at Minnesota. Seattle is a 1.5 point favorite here, Dan.
I like that a lot, especially because Cook is on the injury report, and if he's not, if he's not 80%, they're going to have some troubles on offense. Seattle's secondary needs to get their act together, but I don't know if Minnesota really has the weapons on their defense.
Really?
In their secondary to contend with Lockett.
Yeah, Minnesota's terrible in the secondary.
Their secondary is one of the worst in the league. Seattle's isn't great either, so it should be an interesting game to see which way this goes. Kirk Cousins has those random 300-plus 3-touchdown days. I don't think we're going to see one of those. 1.5 is really close in Minnesota, but I'm going to take Seattle.
Yeah, and I think Mike Zimmer is probably going to be fired during the season. I don't think he should. I think he's a good coach, but he's been there a long time without winning a Super Bowl. This is a team that can be 2-0 right now, but after the Seahawks, they play the Browns, they get the Lions, but then they go to Carolina, they get Dallas, they go to Baltimore, they go to the Chargers, they host the Packers, they go to San Francisco, they get the Lions again, and then they host the Steelers, which I don't think will be that tough by then. But then you're at Chicago. That's all right. But then you host the Rams, you go to the Packers, and you finish with the Bears. So this is a team that, even if they play well, is going to be hard-pressed to win more than 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
All right, I'm going to take Seattle also. I think if Dalvin Cook was 100%, I would actually consider taking them because Minnesota's got some weapons, and I think Seattle's got some defensive issues too. And this is going to be a shootout similar to that Tennessee-Seattle game last week. But I'm going to go with Seattle and Russell Wilson. I do think Kirk Cousins is very good. I think he's better than a lot of people think he is. And I'm sure Dan thinks Kirk Cousins is trash.
He's not quite right, no. And you want to talk about guys collapsing in big moments, you're going to look right at Kirk Cousins.
Why would I do that? He's never been in a big moment. I mean, what's a big moment? Monday Night Football?
Yeah, Monday Night Football, 2-minute drill when you're down by 4.
Yeah, that's not really that big a moment. He did win a game like that. I think it was last year or the year before.
Even a blind squirrel can find a nut.
So what do you have against squirrels that you would make fun of them like that? Because now Risley is going to go off on a rant again too, because MFers that don't like squirrels, Go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, my dogs hate squirrels. my dog can get about 12 foot up a tree chasing a squirrel.
No, they can't.
He can.
Dog.
12 feet up a tree.
Australian Shepherds.
I don't care. They're not 12 feet up the tree.
10 to 12 feet. Yeah,
Let's go
we've got low hanging branches.
Go 6-8, Steve.
All right, whatever.
Okay. Who you like,
Already
Steve?
done that.
Seattle or Minnesota?
I like Seattle. I think Seattle's biggest problem right now might be Pete Carroll. I think
It has been for years.
Yeah, he's gotten stale.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to let this team, somebody else with a younger philosophy needs to come into this team while you still have Russell Wilson at his peak playing capabilities, and let this team go and get them back to where they were in the Super Bowl year. But nonetheless, 1.5 points makes me want to take Seattle just because that spread's so close. If it was a bigger spread, I'd go with Miami or with Minnesota. But I think the 1.5 point spread.
If you want, you can go with Miami.
No, I corrected myself before you opened your big trap.
Mike doesn't let anything get past.
No, he doesn't. You know,
There's a lot of stuff here, though. I mean,
hey Dan, you notice that Mike's the only one that wears a hat.
I think I wore a hat a couple last week.
He did.
No.
Do you know you're the only one that's an asshole, Steve?
Yeah, I work hard at it.
You don't really work at it, Steve. It's natural.
I know it's come natural by now. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I did want to say one thing before we move.
You just want to keep calling me names?
I don't know. You're the one that started on me first, you big fat head.
You started on me when we first got on the air.
You can't wear a hat because your head's too damn big. They don't make a size 10.
I mean, they have
7 3/4, baby. 7 5/8 and 7 3/4.
Sure it is, Steve.
That's why I just got a new era Dodgers cap.
I know Steve had mentioned bringing in a new voice and someone young and into today's era for Pete Carroll. That's why they brought in Shane,
the offensive coordinator.
To try to mix it up and bring their offense into this century, because last year it just didn't work. And like you said, you can't waste Russell Wilson.
Mike, somebody appreciates my insight.
The early returns are positive, especially for a guy like Lockett, who's they're really opening it up downfield. So
yeah,
it's exciting times in Seattle, despite Carroll's oldness.
Is Carroll older than you, Steve?
Carroll's older than dirt.
But is he older than Steve?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, because I remember him coaching at USC when I was still in high school or college.
That was in the 2000s. He wasn't coaching there when you were in college.
Oh, well, I was – okay, well, I don't know. Yeah. I think he's older than 62.
I think he is, too. He's 70 years old.
70s, yeah.
He's 70. Yeah.
I like Pete Carroll. I mean, he looks great for his age. I just
think Steve, he was the defensive coordinator at North Carolina State when you played at Indiana.
There you go.
So you weren't even close. He was the head coach at USC in 2001 to 2009.
All right.
But all right. Does anybody have anything else to
add? Those
were
my drinking years.
No, that's
2001 through 2009.
Yeah.
So you know what? Hold on. You know what? I was going through this list here of better quarterbacks than Garoppolo, and I've settled at a solid list of about 15 guys, and I'm very pleased with it right now.
Good for you.
So yeah, he's definitely outside the top 15.
You told us Derek Carr was trash 2 weeks ago. And see, since you're young, if Jimmy Garoppolo goes off on Green Bay for 300 yards, you're all of a sudden going to be on there saying he's one of the. He will. He's going to throw for 300 yards.
If he does do that, I will wear. I have a Jeff Garcia jersey in my closet. I'll throw
why would you? No, I think that if Jimmy Garoppolo throws for 300 yards against the Packers, I think Dan should pick, or I think Steve should pick a song for Dan to sing on air next week. What do you think, Steve?
No,
come on. I'm my general.
I don't want to humiliate anybody. I'm not like you, Mike.
Oh, come on. Steve just says that because we had a bet one time and he had to sing on air.
And I did it. I lived up to my bet.
Listen, I'm going to go to karaoke tomorrow and I'm going to sing some AC/DC. You can find me on Facebook.
That was a pretty gay move right there.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, what was that?
Double guns. Come on, man.
Don't do that on this show.
Huh. That's slightly, I don't know. Irritated. Disturbing, I think, is the word.
Disturbing, yeah. That's
slightly disturbing.
Come on.
Very disturbing.
Double guns. Come on, no. Got to holster those bad boys. Not the.
My God, what is he? That Woody Page guy now?
He's auditioning for RuPaul's Drag Race or
There
Drag
you
Queen,
go.
whatever that show is. It
Well,
won
he
all
won-
the Emmys.
He won the most Emmys in the world last
I
night.
know,
when
he's
he
got
talked
like
about
19
drag
Emmys.
queens.
RuPaul's Drag Race has the most Emmys of any television show ever.
Crazy.
That
So
tells
crazy.
you what this world has come to.
Good for them, man. Good for him. That's awesome.
That's stupid.
Yeah, no, good for him. It's actually a good, fun show to watch.
It's actually, I figured you would watch it. You probably dress up in your wife's dresses when she's at work, don't you? And act like you're on the show.
My wife is 5'4"
What's your dogs judge
about
you?
110 pounds. I'm slightly larger.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. We'll be back same time.
Hey, whoa! What's the standings?
I don't know. How many did you get right last week, Dan?
8.
You're guessing, Dan.
I have no clue.
Mike, are you not keeping?
I wrote them down this week.
You got 6.
I wrote them down this week too.
Steve got 5, and
no! I got
know.
more than 5.
Actually, Steve, you got 6.
Okay,
We got to do better, guys.
That's
do
bad.
what'd you get, Mike?
I got 6.
Okay.
But the important thing here is,
So
Dan,
the cosmic message here is, I'm not any stupider than you two are.
Actually, no, the message is you're in last place because the week before we both
By one game.
I hate to tell you this, Steve, but if you lose by 1 point, you done lost.
But
it don't matter if you
game's
lose by
not over
1
yet, buddy.
The game's over.
not over.
Yeah, it is, Steve. The game's over.
Nope.
The game's over, Steve.
If you ever watch a NASCAR race, you'll see that the leader of the race many times will just drop back into second or third place to save his car and not get involved in melees and messes with idiots that are racing for the win.
You're the one
halfway
that
through the race.
You're the one that accused young Dan here of throwing Michael Vick's name in when he said Michael K.
Okay, I apologize to
You
him.
you cussed on air. You used the Lord's name in vain, and you were wrong. You had this indignation that was just wrong.
No, that's how important taking care of animals is to me. And what Michael Vick did.
That you will attack a man for saying Michael. So anybody named Michael, you're just going to attack if we bring him up.
Only Michael Vick. That name should not be mentioned.
You attacked him for saying Michael K.
Well, I misread.
And I hate to tell you this, but like 20 times in this show, you've mentioned the name Michael Vick, and I haven't said it at all until right then.
But I said it in vain.
We need to have him on the show so he can pick games with us.
Let's go. Actually, he was on. He was on Fox this Sunday. He did a pretty good job, actually.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, because the Colts were playing, so I got to watch the pregame.
But yet you'll scream at Dan for the mere mention of his name, but you'll sit there on a Sunday morning and watch.
I had no choice.
Rude.
You had no choice.
I'm sorry. I was rude. I admit being rude.
Damn. I know. Are you all right, Dan?
I'm going to be okay. I've had enough beers where I think I'll be okay.
Oh, now we're drinking beers on the air.
I drink beers every podcast I do.
Yeah, he's got to drink when you're on with him.
It is Wednesday. #Wasted Wednesday.
Man, Mike, I've been with you, 5, 6, 7 years now? We've been together. Yeah. There's just no loyalty, is there?
With what?
With me.
There's no love in the game.
You're still here, right, dumbass? Is anybody else still here?
When's my check coming for my 5%?
5%. Well, if you would have done something at some point, you'd have had 10% if you remember.
I think staying with you for 5 to 7 years is doing something.
I don't. I think me staying with you for 5 to 7 years is doing something. Steve, what do you think, Dan?
Steve, I think that Steve just didn't get his payment yet. They're sending it to you
by what?
In the mail. And
they're Pony Express.
They're paying you in Skittles, like Marshawn Lynch.
I can't take money from anybody else.
They're going to pay you in green Skittles.
I can't take money. I just would tear the check up and refund it to him.
That's why they're sending you Skittles, because they know how.
So that just means he's trying to be an annoying little bitch today. But that's all right, because at least, well, no, he did verbally assault you. I mean, you probably ought to contact your lawyer, Dan. But all right, we're going to wrap the show up. Remember that you can follow me at Grilling Truth. You can follow Risley at Risley34. You can follow Dan at Dan and Bob Talking Sports.
BD or DB Talking Sports.
You
Mike,
don't even
that's-
know what it is.
Mike, that's S. Risley 34.
That's I said S. Risley 34.
You did. You said Risley 34.
Dan, did I not say S. Risley 34?
Dan, be very careful here.
I don't know. My connection's messed up. What'd you guys say? What's
There you
going on?
go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. We're going to get off here right now. Michael Vick will be with us next week to pick games at 8 o'clock on Wednesday.
Hey, I want to say one last thing. Good luck to the Bengals, Colts, and Lions, even though I think we're all in the shit, except for the Bengals. I think the Colts and the Lions are in the shitter.
Dan looks natural doing that, doesn't he?
It's scary.
I mean, host of these bad boys.
Hey. Okay, one more trivia question.
There's
For
people
everybody
still watching.
that's
Go
not
ahead.
listening, yeah. You're all familiar with the song September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Great song.
Great song. You know that it's on the 21st of September is in the song. You know what day yesterday was the 21st of September. Do you know why they chose that date when they wrote that song?
Because it's the last day of summer?
Not always. It's not always. Doesn't always fall on the 21st.
Okay.
Okay. So Dan gave it an answer. May I give it an answer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they were chasing the clouds away. I'm trying to remember the words.
Let me just give you the answer.
No, do not give the answer.
There is no answer.
Think about it. There is an answer to it.
No, there is not an answer.
There will be by the time I'm done thinking about it. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. But there is no answer. It simply was a random date they picked. They tried 10, 12 different dates to fit it into the song, and 21st of September fit the best into the lyrics and the rhyming of the lyrics. That's the only reason the 21st of September was used in the song.
Well, how about this? Answer this trivia question. Who was the other singer that re-released a cover of September in 2007?
Bruno Mars?
No.
2007. Male or female?
Male.
Male. Man, I want to say that's not right, though. He wouldn't do it. Well, I want to say Lionel Richie, but he wouldn't do it. I don't know, Mike. That's a good trivia question. Who is it?
Kirk Franklin.
Oh, okay.
You never heard of him, have you?
I never heard of him. So, but that's okay.
I think Kirk Franklin is a Christian singer.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Oh, cool. Random. Fun factoid. Learning new
go.
things this whole show. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at cultural
Look, he
impact.
just opened up another beer.
But if you look at the cultural impact, it was also featured in a movie in the 2000s, and Risley is a big movie trivia guy.
Oh,
What
dude,
movie
that wasn't a
was
movie.
that?
That was music.
No way. You're a cinephile.
It was played on the last scene before the end credits before this movie in 2006, Risley. What is it?
What's it? What was it? Run it by me again. I was listening to Dan.
I said in 2006, September was played during the last scene before the end credits of what movie?
No, I wouldn't know that.
Night at the Museum.
Yeah, I only watched that movie one time. It's a good movie, but I only watched it one time.
Was that the one with Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, yeah. Owen Wilson.
Oh, right. And Robin Williams was Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. Oh, was that in 1 or 2? 2 was that Dick Van Dyke and Mickey Rooney in it.
Hey, what's your language?
He just wanted to say Dick.
He did.
Dick Van Dyke?
You just wanted to say Dick. You got to say Dick and Dyke in the same sentence within 3 words.
We're never doing a show again.
Can I sing Why Don't We Get Drunk? And
No, you can't because that's just rude.
Tune in for
All
us
right.
next week.
We better get off the air before we get booted off the air by Twitter.
All righty. Well, we're going to check out of here. Make sure you check us out wherever you find podcasts, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, all them places, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever they call it, Podcorn or whatever. There is one called Podcorn. I didn't even know that, but we're on it.
Dan, are you 21?
I'm 33. I'm old.
Oh, are you really? Good looking 33.
Oh,
Thank you. I
God.
appreciate
A
that.
very good looking 33. I did not picture you as being that old.
Thank you. I'll take that. Normally, everyone says I look at least 40. So I think
No, I don't think so at all. I had you at about 25, 24.
See, the thing you'll realize, Dan, is this. Once you get to be like in your 60s, everybody looks like they're 30 or old, younger.
We're all just young whippersnappers.
You know how many State Fair back scratches I have for people trying to guess my age?
State Fair back scratchers?
Yeah, well they can't guess your age.
Well, you look at least 66.
Well, they can't guess my age.
I can guess your age.
I want to say 69 just because.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna go 57.
Oh,
I think somebody's had too many light beers from Miller.
He's 62.
Awesome.
Are you drinking Coors Light?
No comment.
Because I don't drink, but ain't that like water and pee mixed together?
Yep.
Listen, you saw me drinking a gallon of water last week. I like to stay hydrated. That's very important.
Then why do you drink beer? It dehydrates you.
Not if it's a light beer.
You know, the thing that really worries me is you look on all these platforms. There's like 4 people here, 46 on this one, 52 on that one, 190, and the numbers are not dropping. Everybody is just sitting here and listening to this crap.
Well, they have good taste, and
There's like 600 people that have been listening to this for the last 10 minutes.
Good. They love the banter. That's what happens.
Do you remember
the 21st night of September?
Yeah.
If I keep this going, I won't remember the 22nd night of September.
Well, that probably wouldn't be the first time you didn't remember a certain night in any month.
Time's never wasted when you're always wasted.
Okay. Where are you from, Dan?
New York.
New York. Makes sense. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the show. Make sure you check us out. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us at Grilling Truth. So for Dan, Steve, I'm Mike. You've been watching and listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.